Welcome back to Houses and Spouses.
Today we're going to be interviewing Josh and Orlando, a couple who moved from upstate New York to Austin, Texas, just a few months ago during the height of this crazy real estate market we're in.
We'll also be talking to them about some of the interesting renovations they're doing on their new house. But before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our future episodes.
Let's jump right in.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Anya.
Together, we bought a house in Austin, Texas.
And it's changed our lives.
I discovered a passion for real estate and embarked on a new career as a realtor.
And I fell in love with interior design and home improvement projects.
Now, we're on a mission to share the home ownership experience
by hearing other couples talk about the ups, the downs, and everything in between.
This is Houses and Spouses.
Welcome, Josh and Orlando. Welcome to our show. And also, welcome to Austin. I understand your very recent transplants here from New York.
Yes, we just moved here back in June.
Okay.
And what motivated you to move to Austin?
Work. Work and being closer to our families also. So it's a short trip instead of coming all the way from New York.
Yeah. I'm originally from Arkansas, and Orlando is originally from Mexico, south of Arizona. So it just made sense for us to be here, to be really close to our families. And as our parents get older, we wanted to be there for them. So.
Of course.
Oh, okay. So what part of the city did you guys buy your house?
It's University Hills.
East Austin.
Mm-hmm.
In East Austin. Okay. And I'm curious, like what made you decide to move to University Hills? What motivated you to pick that neighborhood?
Well, we were looking different areas, and one thing that really caught up our attention was to see how the neighbors were taking care of their homes. And there were a lot of renovations happening in different spots. Mm-hmm. So, and we knew when we found our new home that we will be doing that too, right? Like doing some renovations. And that was really interesting for us. Like it's an old kind of neighborhood, but everybody's taking care of their homes. So it looks very cozy. It was really appealing for us.
Yeah. And the yard. We love the yard. When we moved here, we left like an acre and a half.
Wow.
And then we were touring homes in Austin and looking, and we were noticing sometimes nice big front yards, but really small backyards. And so once we saw the backyard in this house, it was like, it's almost half an acre. We were like, okay, we're in love with this backyard. They did a lot for it. So the people that had it for us.
Yeah. So you mentioned like the neighborhood is great for it's cozy. Everybody sort of gets along. Could you speak a little bit more extensively about your feel for the neighborhood, like what's around it, and what there is to do around University Hills?
Well, I think I'm the one who's here the most. So I really enjoy. I work from home.
Okay.
So after work, I take one of our dogs and I just go for a walk. There is a park. It's about a little bit less than a mile. But I like just to go in between the different roads. At the end, by the time I get home, it's about 2.5 miles that I have walked. So it's just it's peaceful. And we were talking about that earlier, that if you don't live in this area, there's no need for you to be going into this street. So there's not a lot of traffic. So it's very easy to walk with your dogs or walk with kids. Every day you're gonna see families walking here, passing the house, and as we pass their houses too when we're walking. So it feels very like everybody wants to keep the safety part of the area. So everybody takes care of it. So it's really nice.
Yeah. And people were very welcoming. We moved in, and we'd be outside moving boxes. People would be coming over talking to us. It was very welcoming, and it's a super diverse neighborhood as well. And you have families, retirees, younger couples just starting out too. So it's really, really diverse. We really enjoy the community piece of it, and it's centrally located. So it's like it's. For us, it's like we were right close to 183 and 35 and 290. So we can jump on any one of those and get anywhere in Austin in like 30 minutes. So it feels really great for us, especially when you have to commute for work. But so it's a really nice community because we're really close to a lot of shopping too. Just down the street, we have a smaller HEB, but we can get to the big one on 51st and Mueller in probably 7 minutes or so.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's very convenient. Yeah, and Targets are close, and
Right.
a lot of great restaurants too. We both have gained a little bit of weight since we've been here.
We'll have to come up there. We're in South Austin, and being close to an HEB and a Target was a big deal for us. I remember when we were searching for a house and looking at what was convenient and walkable or easily drivable, that was a big deal. But we haven't spent a lot of time at University Hill, so we'll have to make it up there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really nice.
We were told by the previous owners that there's a path from this park all the way down to like the park by South Congress. I can't remember the name of it. Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like
like it goes like for many
running
miles. Yeah.
Oh wow, it goes all the way down to South Austin.
So there's a lot to do. We just haven't had the time yet. So we're working on the house.
Right. So what does it remind you of New York at all? Was there any sort of like parallel between where you came to where you ended up, like in terms of neighborhood?
We were upstate New York, so it was more like into the woodsy areas.
Oh,
so you are not that close to your neighbors. Everything is more spread, and we really like that part, right? Like that privacy. It is a little bit different here, but once we go in the backyard, it's like you have the woods, you have like old nature here, so we really enjoy that part.
Good. So the nature component, it reminds you of your house.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Especially get all the conveniences of all the city stuff like we would get there. So, but there, when we moved out of the city, we were like an hour and a half north. And so anytime we wanted to do anything artsy, we had to hop on a train and do the trip. So it's like an hour and a half, but here, 20 minutes, we're there.
Yeah.
We can take, and Austin's super modern and it's growing. So it's easily accessible by Uber, Lyft, all those things. So you don't have to worry about driving if you want to have a little bit of fun.
For sure. And I understand you bought your house fairly quickly. What was it like moving at the height of the market? Can you tell us a little bit more about your home buying process?
It was
stressful.
It was an adventure. It was a real adventure. It was like I think we saw homes like for 2 weeks, 2 weekends, and but everything was going fast in the market. Like if you blink, you lost the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like we put an offer in one home, and we were like, we were not completely sure, but we liked the style of the house, and we're like, but it's too close to neighbors and everything. Then we saw this one, we pulled out of the other one to put an offer. Because it was like you needed to move that fast.
And a lot of the times when we were looking at homes and we were considering different offers, they would list it for like, let's say 700,000, and the agents were saying, you got to put in an offer well above of asking, in order to be considered competitive. So, for one house that was listed for like 7 or 750, we put in an offer for like 950. And it was like, and we withdrew that obviously. Right. But it was very stressful because, we came from kind of a market where, properties were a little more expensive, but we hadn't seen that like a craziness that we saw here in Austin. Yeah.
So were you like, when you say you withdrew, had you gone under a contract and you were withdrawing during option, or this is
No, we had started signing the papers. We had put in an offer. And they were deciding that weekend, and we saw this house that same weekend. This one was bigger, and had a bigger yard, and it was not like right in the middle of everything in downtown Austin. So it was a little bit quieter, and you have more privacy. So and we had a garage. So that was a big thing for us.
So when was this? This was early
July.
summer? Oh, in July. Oh, then when the market was just going wild.
Yeah.
We moved here June 1st.
Okay.
And then started immediately. We were renting a place in East Austin on Go Valley from a friend of ours. Those newer modern home things. And it was really nice, and we loved it, and so we were working with some friends of our friend that had already lived here that had helped her find her homes and stuff. So it really helped us and gave us a little sense of confidence in looking for a house so quickly, because we know that that person knew us and cared about us. So we were going to
Got
in
it.
their hands. So we felt like it was okay to move quick. And her professional advice, and she was here forever, really helped, saying, hey, this is the right price for this, or go put in this offer, because everything ended up working out really well. And we had not bought a home in Texas before. It's totally different than buying a house in New York, a lot less lawyers.
Yeah.
So it was a
okay.
different kind of experience, the whole process.
So I'm curious, so you had already sold your house in New York, right? You didn't have to put in a contingent offer or anything like that. Okay, perfect.
We were lucky there. We sold it the first weekend it was listed. It was going crazy there too during COVID. People wanted to move out of the city, and that's the people that bought it. So they came out and we had a few good offers. So it was nice.
That was really good.
Okay.
That worked out well.
We were fortunate.
And speaking of the previous home. Right. So you mentioned that one of the things you really wanted was a yard. What are some other differences and similarities between your old house and the one you have now?
That house, we built it, and it was completely modern. But we were open when we started talking about moving. We were open to something more classic, and with that eclectic flavor, right? Like we will have something classic in the outside, but modernize it inside, and then open to the backyard. So we had all those crazy ideas from the beginning. So when we saw this and we saw the potential, and we always said, we use this term, let's find a house that is livable.
Okay.
Right? So it is like we can move in and start making changes little by little and one thing at a time. And we moved in and we started making a lot of changes, not one at a time. Right? But yeah, everything is a work in progress right now.
And for us in our last house, we loved a lot of light. Like we had, it was mostly windows, and we didn't really have any type of, and we didn't have really close neighbors, and weren't close to a road, so we didn't have to have window treatment. So that's new to us here too. So so we're trying to open up more of the windows. We're slowly replacing the doors to make them more open. Our front door went from like a single door to a triple door. So we made it 3 times as big as it was, all glass, and we're working on the back now and replacing all the windows on the front of the house to make it more open and light, and just really enjoy kind of like the weather here too, because for most of like now in New York, and I'm sure it's pretty gray, right? So we get gray weather for like probably 6-7 months, and here it's just beautiful. We love this weather. It's really nice. We hope it stays like this.
So I'm curious, like with the renovations that you're doing now, are you working as your own general contractor, or do you have somebody working for you who's finding your subcontractors for you?
We're being the general contractor, and then through apps like Nextdoor and through referrals, we're hiring our individual contractors, doing one project at a time. We just finished like our downstairs bathroom. We gutted it and took all the stuff out that we needed to. And then we hired someone to do electrical. We hired someone to do the plastering, and then we had someone do the wallpaper. Right. So, and then we put in the new vanity and the plumbing and all that stuff ourselves. So we were able, so we try to balance kind of like what we're doing. And we learned a lot from building our own home in New York. So it's like, we want to kind of leverage that, and we're piecing out the projects probably over 3 years. So we don't want to do it all at once. So right now we're building him a home office from a big shed that was in the back, and replacing windows and all that stuff. We're getting solar panels in a few weeks. So yeah, we don't want to because he works from home, we don't want to be stuck without power for him. So
like right after this, I'm going to jump in my special suit and start putting the foam insulation on it.
Oh, really? You really get down and dirty with it.
Good for you.
We're trying. We're trying because we had like there's always not the best experience with contractors, right? And so we learn from that. We learn like it's not that hard to just follow through a project, and it can be done in a short time instead of letting them go and they extend. I don't know how that works for some contractors, extending projects like that. But we learned like, well, we can do it. We can do part like what happened in the bathroom. We do part ourselves. And when we need someone licensed to do like electric, we hire someone. And then through that person, we found the person is going to help me to do the paneling inside of my office.
Oh.
So they work together, right? And then the same person is going to help me to build the deck to come out of the office. So it's but it as Josh said, we are trying to do it little by little, finish one portion of the project, and we do something else, and then they come back and help us with something.
Okay. Yeah.
Where are you learning to do
Go
the
ahead.
DIY sorry, I'm so impressed that you're doing this on your own. I was gonna ask where you're learning. Are you watching YouTube? Like, how are you doing all these DIY projects?
YouTube.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube. Yeah.
Yes.
So like with all this renovations, do you guys have an HOA that you've had to jump through hoops? Can you none of that? So
And that's something we looked for too, because a few of the properties we looked at did have HOAs, and we wanted to avoid that if we could.
Yeah.
So it's just not something we're interested in being part of.
Okay. And are you also like, you're handling all the permitting then with the city as well?
Yeah, like the things that they're needed, yes, we are handling that. But like for the spray foam and stuff like that, I mean, you don't need anything.
Right.
And, yeah, and the contractors the subcontractors that we are getting are helping us with the dog jumping.
It's all right.
When something like that is needed, I mean, since they work in the industry, they help us with some questions.
Okay.
I really commend you guys on doing this. I think a lot of people watching this might not have been so brave. What advice do you have to someone jumping into maybe the similar hybrid model of doing a little bit on their own and a little bit contracted out?
I would just say be patient, right? It's like, that's the thing. It's like the bathroom remodel we're doing downstairs has lasted like a month and a half, almost 2 months, but we love the way it looks, right? And we still have a little bit ways to go on it, but it's just, but enjoy it too, because it's your home. So when you, like for us, we've talked about this before, like when you're so involved in doing something from kind of like the ground up, you have a lot of pride in your house too. And we like to keep it really clean and neat, and because we are like the way it looks. So it's like, it really will help for the property value of the home. This for us, this is our retirement, right? So it's like, we're really planning long-term for us, because, this is an investment for us. We don't plan on moving anytime soon. We do plan on eventually getting something smaller, like when we get a lot older. But for us, this is part of our retirement. So we hope to sell this at a really large profit one of these days. We hope Austin's market keeps happening, so we can do that. Right? But that's what we look at it. Like everything that we're doing, we take pride. It's an investment in our future. So we want to do that. We can speak to kind of, if anyone has any specific questions about like why something was built a certain way, we will be able to answer those questions too.
Yeah. And also we learned that, especially with the bathroom, when we start doing that, all the distribution of materials that is being like messed up right now, it affects us, right? Like we ordered some wallpaper but it wasn't enough, for example. So the people who came in and installed it was like, we're gonna need another roll. And it took a week and a half for us to get it, even when I ordered it right away, because everything is getting like delayed. Right.
You're lucky it was in stock.
Yes. So that's one of the things that as Josh said, is like, there's not much we can do. Like we place the order, we just talk to the people who was installing it, and everybody's very accessible too. Like it's really it's great to work this way with people who is understanding of the situation. Like it doesn't depend that we weren't already. It's just the material is not here, right?
And we're we always find somebody that's a referral for the most part too. Trusting the people that you're bringing in. Like we know we'll keep passing out these to our neighbors too if somebody wants something. Right. Like we were sharing names of contractors with some of our neighbors the other day. So it's really about like trust too. And then some of these people have like really small businesses, and they're doing or have a full-time job and doing this at nights and weekends like some of our guys. And so we want to help them as much as possible because they're part of our community.
Yeah.
I love that.
So how has this like brought you guys closer together as a couple, like collaborating on this whole project? I'm curious.
I think it has been happening since one apartment that we had in the city that we started making renovations on it, considering selling it, right? And we are both dreamers, and we both are like, oh, what if we do this? Oh, and we check like, I don't know, catalogs and restoration hardware. Look at how cool this look, and oh, we can do our version of it. So we start like planning and drawing and everything. And I don't know, we get along really well when we are creating those kind of things. You have to see the sketches of the house that we built in New York. We started sketching it, and Josh started doing it on his iPad, just drawing boxes, like how we wanted each room. From, if you see those sketches to the architecture drawings, it didn't change that much. They are the experts, and they help us to see where the lines, electric lines or power, water and everything were going. But the main idea, main concept was from our idea, right? So this, like, I don't know, and it happens all the time. Like we like this part of the process, like as just said, to make it our own and be proud of what we are doing. And yeah, the apartment sell really well in 2 days, I think. And then the house happened the same thing, because I think once you imprint your personality on something, and someone goes and visit the house to buy it,
Right.
They can feel it, and they can sense that that is not like a cookie cutter place. Right?
Yeah, that you have a lot of love into it.
It has their own personality.
Yeah.
And you mentioned catalogs. Is that where you get the most of your inspiration? Like, how do you come up with your ideas for renovations?
Interest.
Yeah. We have about 300 Pinterest boards, I think, right now, because I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, it's like we do a lot and we share a lot. We probably spend too much time together, but we get along really well. We have enough difference in our ideas and our approach to make it interesting, right? So it's like, if we disagree on something, we're like, okay, what's your top three? What's your top three? And we just kind of start narrowing it down so we land on something we both can agree on. But it doesn't happen that often. Usually we just kind of follow each other's kind of flow.
Yeah, and even the architect said when we met him the first time, we showed him the sketches, and then I printed some mud boards that I had with all the details and finishes that we wanted for the house. And he was like, well, you guys did part of my job already. I just need to like present something else then. But I think it's very important to work together. And as Josh said, once we have our three main favorites for something, for look and feel or something, it's very important to learn to compromise when you're in a couple, right? Like, okay, you know what? Let's do like an in-between the two things. And yeah, it has been working. It's really good. And
I would say our one design anchor that we have is like it's around our dogs. Oh yeah. So it's like, how's this going to affect our dogs? Like, can they see out the window? Are they comfortable? What's their view going to be? So and that's seriously what we look at too. So because we love our dogs. Like we have two and babysitting one now, but we plan on having a lot more. They're very enjoyable.
Nice.
So what's next after the bathroom and the windows?
Upstairs.
Yes.
so we're working on we're creating our mood boards and doing some designs for like our master bath, our master closet, guest bath. The room that we're in now, Orlando's using as an office, but once we get done with his little studio office we're building in the backyard, then we're going to turn this into kind of like a meditation / library room, or
I love that.
for me. Because there's only two of us and it's like 4 bedrooms. So we're kind of being creative there. And we're creating a media room in another bedroom. So we have to do a lot of paint there and build some cabinets. And so it's going to be the upstairs next. Yeah. And that'll be over the next couple of years. And then after that, we'll probably start exploring the pool in the backyard and all that fun stuff. So.
Oh, wow. So, wow, this is like an ever-growing project. I love it. It's like, you move to the next thing. Do you have any advice for somebody, particularly who's moving from out of state? Because you guys came all the way from upstate New York to Texas. Like, so do you have any advice for somebody who's looking to make that type of move?
Oh, wow. I think patience is what, And I think we were really lucky to have a friend here who introduced us to the realtor, for example, and to other people who have their own homes, who have bought art in locally and stuff like that. So you start getting ideas from all these people. We honestly didn't feel, or I haven't felt like any time that I have a question that I don't have someone to ask and they have an answer, because they have been here their whole life. Or if someone is new, they know someone who will have the answer. So it's really, I think networking is one of the main things when you are going to do a big move like this.
Yeah, because we hadn't been here before, really. We only were here for like half a day when we had to go to San Antonio for his nephew's graduation.
Yeah.
But it's I agree with Orlando, like the networking is so important. But the most stressful thing for us was the moving company. Make sure you do your research, read all the bad reviews because they're probably true, right? So it was a really bad experience for us, and it took 2 weeks for us to get like his car moved here. So it was like weird. Making sure you plan all that ahead of time, really plan ahead of time, because we had to move very quickly.
Right.
Based on some health stuff for one of our parents. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it all worked out for you guys. I mean, it's such a journey, right? To get all the way down here, and then you had a short-term rental, right? And then before you could find your house. But
we were very fortunate to have a friend that happened to have an opening in her house. She was
right.
So we were very lucky. She was going month to month with us and everything. So it was great to have that benefit. It really helped us get grounded.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your home, and we're excited to catch up with you when the other renovations are done, although I feel like they're never going to be done.
It never is, right?
Thank you both so much for joining us. We really enjoyed chatting with you.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. Nice meeting you guys too.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you to Josh and Orlando for appearing on today's episode. What did you think?
Well, I think we should go visit University Hills. It sounds like a really quiet, quaint neighborhood with not a lot of through traffic, but yet conveniently located to a lot of the shopping, entertainment, and the rest of what the city has to offer.
Absolutely. It's right there near that Mueller district, and there's a lot of walkability and a lot of great places right there. So I like what they said about that. I also like what Orlando mentioned about the renovations they're doing, because when you're doing a reno, don't be afraid to get down and dirty and to maybe like do something on your own aside from just like hiring somebody. And for those people that you're hiring, look towards referrals, like not only with your friends, but like with some of these subcontractors, because they're just small business owners too. So, I mean, that can always expedite those projects.
Yeah, and if you need a real estate referral, here's one for you.
That's right. If you have a real estate need, you're looking to buy or sell a house, I'd be happy to help. You can always find me by clicking on the link in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our future episodes. And if you'd like to be on one of those episodes, please reach out to houses.spouses@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.